On a dark and silent night, in a small village far from the city, known for its tranquility and simple life, something was not right this evening. Pim, a middle-aged woman who worked as a teacher at the village school, was walking home after a long day. She had to pass through a dense forest on her way back. The forest, usually calm, was now filled with a chilling breeze, as though someone was watching her. Pim felt an uneasy shiver run down her spine. "Let's get home," she whispered to herself and quickened her pace. But then she heard a faint whisper near her ear. "Help us." The voice was raspy and unsettling. Pim stopped and looked around, but there was no one in sight. She hurried on, but the voice came again, this time clearer, as if someone was right behind her. "Help us! We've been here too long." Her heart raced. She turned around to see only the shadows of swaying trees. But as she glanced down, she noticed footprints in the mud. Beside those footprints were faint streaks of blood trailing along the ground. Terrified, Pim sprinted home. Once inside, she locked all the doors and collapsed into a chair, breathing heavily, feeling safe at last. But just as she sat down, the haunting whisper returned. This time, it came from right behind her. "Will you help us?" Pim trembled as she felt an icy hand slowly rest on her shoulder. Before everything went dark, she heard a chilling laugh echoing in the room. Pim felt as though she was being pulled into an endless darkness. She tried to open her eyes, but everything around her remained pitch black. The whisper still echoed in her mind, as if someone was close, watching her all the time. Suddenly, a voice cut through. It wasn't a whisper anymore, but a clear, powerful voice. "We don't wish to harm you. We just want to be free." Pim looked around, noticing a faint light appearing in the corner of the room. She saw a shadow forming, slowly revealing the figure of a woman dressed in white, her long hair flowing down. But her face was pale, filled with sorrow. "She's been trapped here for so long," Pim murmured to herself, her voice trembling. "Why are you here?" The figure didn't respond, but stared at Pim with empty eyes before slowly speaking. "We were killed here, a long time ago. No one knew. No one helped us. Until you." Pim felt as though something was tightening around her heart. Her fear turned into pity. She wanted to help release the spirit trapped in this place. "What must I do?" Pim asked. "We need only to be remembered, and for our spirit to be set free," the voice whispered slowly. Pim nodded. She remembered the old story of a young woman who had disappeared in the forest many years ago, her body never found. That night, Pim realized that the woman standing before her might be that very person. The next morning, Pim brought flowers and incense to the forest, performing a simple ritual to help the woman's spirit find peace. She felt the coldness disappear, and the atmosphere around her return to its usual calm. From that day on, the whispers and the feeling of being watched vanished. Pim was relieved, knowing she had freed the trapped spirit and restored peace to her small village. But on some nights, as she walked through the forest, she thought she could see the shadow of the woman standing in the distance, smiling at her in gratitude before vanishing into the wind.